The discovery. The initial encounter. The denobulan energy weapons vaporized the human soldier's armor, but left Gabriel Cox's flesh unscathed as the crackling beams seared his skin, but nothing more. The look of incredulous disbelief in the alien's bulbous eyes was priceless as Cox stalked forward, smirking, his particle carbine raising for the killing shots. Humanity was immune. Years of war. It had taken a war to discover this fact. For years, the denobulans had seemed unstoppable, their advanced weaponry annihilating human ships and colonies with impunity. The superior alien race hungered to enslave mankind. Now, Gabriel, an ex-Special Forces mercenary, had a chance to turn the tables. A mission from Black Star. When the shadowy Black Star organization tasked him with infiltrating a silent denobulan research station in the Kuiper Belt, Cox didn't hesitate. He suspected a trap, but the payoff was worth it. Intel on new alien superweapons to obliterate Earth. Gabriel had to breach the station and neutralize these prototypes at all costs, or see humanity wiped out. Stealth approach. Approaching under stealth, Cox's scans detected exotic energy signatures. The station bristled with upgraded point defenses. The denobulans were definitely hiding something big here. Cox docked and crept aboard, particle rifle ready, nanofiber armor flexing. Signs of battle. At first, he only found eerie silence and abandoned corridors. Then the blood-splattered bulkheads and scorched denobulan corpses began. A fierce battle had been fought. But against who? Whatever had attacked the aliens hadn't finished the job. Ambush and immunity. Proximity warnings flared across Gabriel's HUD as contacts closed in. Denobulan troopers stormed from all sides, plasma lances humming. Cox unleashed full auto particle beams, the shredding fire meeting alien energy bolts head-on. That's when the human discovered his inexplicable immunity. As the air crackled with lethal energies that didn't even wound him, Gabriel stalked through the corridors of the denobulan station, particle rifle leveled, eyes scanning for more foes. The laboratory. Rounding a corner, Gabriel stared down a massive blast door. He hacked the controls and it groaned open, revealing a vast laboratory bristling with equipment. 6 spindly denobulan scientists spun to face him, shouting in alarm. They were clustered around a large, sinister-looking device. Confrontation with scientists. Gabriel heard one of them, an older alien he assumed was the leader, say, "Dr. Boren, the final test is imminent. We must hurry." "Don't move," Gabriel barked, rifle aimed. "Step away from the device." Dr. Boron's defiance. Dr. Boron glared at him with narrowed eyes. "Foolish human, you cannot stop us. With this weapon, your species will be eradicated." The battle and realization. The scientists grabbed weapons and opened fire with sizzling energy beams. To Gabriel's shock, the crackling bolts dissipated harmlessly against his armor. His HUD flashed a message. Suit adapted, denobulan weapons neutralized. Gabriel grinned savagely. The denobulan eyes went wide as he charged forward, particle blasts shredding their equipment. In moments, the scientists were neutralized, sprawled unconscious at his feet. Investigating the device, Gabriel secured the lab and then examined the ominous device. It was clearly some advanced biological weapon engineered to target humans. With growing horror, he spotted desiccated human corpses in the lab's holding cells. These monsters had been experimenting on people. Data retrieval. Jaw clenched, Gabriel accessed the weapon's data core, determined to steal the schematics and destroy this abomination. Black Star needed this data to develop countermeasures. As the download commenced, a shrill alarm blared. Countdown to destruction. Warning. Self-destruct sequence initiated. T-minus 10 minutes to detonation. Gabriel snarled. The download was only at 20%. He had to get this data and get the hell out before the entire station went supernova. Fingers flying over the keyboard, sweat beading his brow. Gabriel watched the countdown tick away as the files crawled over. This was going to be close. The escape. Critical moments. Gabriel's heart pounded as the data transfer raced against the ticking clock of the station's self-destruct sequence. At last, the files finished downloading. He yanked the data drive, the keys to stopping the Denobulan genocidal plans, and sprinted for the exit. Ambush at the hangar. The lab's blast doors whooshed open, revealing 8 heavily armed alien soldiers led by a hulking brute with commander insignia, blocking Gabriel's escape. It was an ambush. "Surrender the data," the Denobulan commander growled, glaring with bulbous eyes. He had a name patch on his armor. "Zach, you won't leave this station alive." "The battle." Gabriel smirked, raising his rifle. "You boys picked the wrong merc to mess with." He dove right as the aliens opened fire, plasma bolts and sonic pulses screaming through the air. The human commando rolled into cover, popping up to return fire. Particle beams stitched lines of destruction and dissipated harmlessly off the Denobulan armor. Commander Zach's advantage. "They've adapted too," Zach snarled in triumph, storming forward with guns blazing. "You see, your pitiful weapons are useless. This is the end for you." But Gabriel just laughed as he stood up, letting the aliens shoot him full on. Energy blasts crackled across his body and fizzled out, not even singing his hair. The Denobulans faltered, eyes wide with disbelief. Turn of the tide. "What the hell?" one soldier muttered. Gabriel flashbanged them point blank and blew them away with precise headshots in the moment of confusion, the staccato thunder of his rifle echoing in the lab. Only Zach remained standing, ears ringing, stumbling behind an energy barrier he'd activated. The alien roared and charged with shocking speed, lashing out with a Denobulan martial arts combo faster than Gabriel could track. Close combat. Reinforced knuckles cracked against his jaw, staggering him. Zach was inhumanly strong and fast. They traded a furious barrage of blows, Zach's energy shield repelling Gabriel's strikes, even as the alien pummeled him. Gabriel gritted his teeth, absorbing the hits, giving ground. His Special Forces CQC training was barely keeping him alive against Zach's onslaught. He had to change tactics fast. Overcoming Zach. Lunging in, Gabriel grabbed Zach's arm and twisted with all his augmented strength, joint-locking the alien and tearing the shield generator off his gauntlet. Zach headbutted him in retaliation, a move that would have caved in a human skull. Gabriel's head rang like a bell, but he managed to slip a neural disruptor onto Zach's neck in the scuffle. The alien convulsed as electricity coursed through him, crumpling at Gabriel's feet. Sweet dreams. Gabriel spat, stomping on the commander's head to knock him out cold. Final dash. Alarms wailed, the countdown racing to 0. Gabriel sprinted through the crumbling station, dodging geysers of plasma, leaping chasms torn in the decks. He had to get to the hangar, had to get this data to Black Star before the place went supernova. Escaping the station, Gabriel burst into the hangar only to skid to a halt as a dozen Denobulan combat drones swiveled to face him, plasma cannons whirring to life. He was cut off, trapped. The drones opened fire, and he was forced to take cover, the self-destruct timer blaring in his ear. He had seconds left, no choice. Do or die, tactical mastery. The Merc's armor lit up as he engaged its onboard tactical suite, hacking the drones with lightning speed. Their guns swiveled away from him, and they started blasting each other to scrap. Gabriel vaulted over the smoking rubble and sprinted up his ship's ramp. The engines roared, and he rocketed from the hangar as a mini-sun bloomed behind him, the station vanishing in the titanic fireball. Reporting success. Black Star. "This is Cox," he said, opening a comlink as he fled the expanding debris field. "Mission accomplished. I have the data on the Denobulan weapon, transmitting now." He fired off a burst transmission, sagging back in his chair in relief. They'd done it. The aliens' plan was thwarted, but this was only the beginning. Gabriel knew as he watched the destruction of the research station bloom across his sensors, that when the Denobulans discovered a human was responsible for this, all hell would break loose. The war had only just begun. The counterattack. Analyzing the data, Gabriel's ship hurtled through the void, Black Star's analysis of the stolen weapon data scrolling across his displays. The revelations chilled his blood. Not only were the Denobulans developing a genocidal bioweapon, they planned to deploy it in a devastating blitz against Earth's cities. Sleeper agents were already in place, awaiting the signal to unleash Armageddon. New mission directive. Gabriel's jaw clenched as a new mission directive flashed on screen. Locate and neutralize Denobulan infiltrators. The dossier detailed an advanced AI targeting system he'd used to identify the alien agents. It was up to him to stop this attack. He wouldn't fail. Hunting the infiltrators. Touching down in New York under the cover of night, Gabriel prowled the shadowed streets, the targeting system probing for Denobulan signatures. His HUD lit up, pinpointing 5 contacts. Seemingly human suits, but their bio readings told another story. Alien spies hiding in plain sight. Tracking the targets. He tracked them through the urban canyons to an abandoned warehouse in the meatpacking district. Keeping to the darkness, he infiltrated the derelict structure, carbon at the ready. Gabriel breached the meeting room in a crash of splintering wood, shocking the masquerading agents within. Confrontation. Hands up, he barked. You're done. Panic flashed in their eyes, then hardened to malice as they drew strange weapons. Fool, your discovery changes nothing, one snarled. The attack will proceed. The fight. Sizzling blasts lit the room, but the energy splashed harmlessly across Gabriel's armor. The Denobulans recoiled in disbelief. Impossible, one gasped. You should be toast. Sorry to disappoint. Gabriel smirked, raising his rifle. Precise shots shredded their weapons and perforated limbs. The agents crumpled, writhing in expanding pools of blood. Gabriel seized the leader, slamming him against the wall. Interrogation. The attack, he growled. When? You're too late, the Denobulan hissed through gritted teeth. In 72 hours, your cities will fall. Your species will burn. Urgency. Gabriel knocked him out with a ruthless headbutt. His blood ran cold at the revelation. Minus 72 hours, 15 cities. He couldn't stop a threat that widespread alone. Activating his comlink, he hailed Black Star. Cox here. We've got a major problem. The Denobulans have infiltrated Earth. They're going to hit over a dozen cities in 3 days with the bioweapon. I need backup now. Omega Squad assembles. Understood, came the clipped reply. We're putting together a team, Omega Squad, our top agents. They're equipped with the same adaptive tech as you. Rendezvous at the New York safe house for briefing and gear up. Copy that, Gabriel confirmed. I'll prep the op. Omega Squad mobilizes. He restrained the unconscious Denobulans and signaled a cleanup crew, then set off into the night. 3 days to stop an extinction-level attack with a handful of operators. Impossible odds, but that was nothing new to Gabriel Cox. The infiltration. Identifying the clones. As Omega Squad raced to neutralize the remaining Denobulan sleeper cells on Earth, Gabriel followed a lead to a clandestine enemy outpost hidden on Saturn's moon Titan. Donning a stolen Denobulan scientist's uniform, Gabriel slipped past the outpost's perimeter security and infiltrated the sprawling underground complex. What he found inside chilled his blood. Row after row of stasis pods stretched into the distance, each one housing a slumbering clone soldier. A new army. Cables and tubes snaked from the pods to humming machines. Gabriel's HUD estimated over 10,000 Denobulan warriors lay dormant here, an army secretly grown for one purpose: to annihilate humanity. They'd been genetically engineered to survive the Denobulan bioweapon. The plan. Gabriel's hands clenched. He had to destroy this place, burn this obscene hatchery before the clones could be unleashed. He hurried to a data terminal and hacked in, fingers flying over the controls. He had to access the pod systems, figure out a way to neutralize them. Confrontation with Carrick. Intruder detected. A cold voice rang out. Stand down or be terminated. Gabriel spun as a hulking figure emerged from the shadows. It was a denobulan, but larger, encased in a bristling exoskeleton that whirred with motorized servos. A name was stenciled on the armor. Carrick, head of security. Facing Carrick. You don't belong here, human, Carrick growled, looming over Gabriel. Weapons snapped from housings on the exosuit's arms. This will be your only warning. The battle. Gabriel's rifle was in his hands in a flash. Warning this, he fired point blank. Particle beams sizzled against the exosuit's energy shields and dissipated harmlessly. Carrick didn't even flinch. He lunged with shocking speed, a shimmering blade sprouting from his gauntlet and slashing for Gabriel's neck. Tactical fight. Gabriel wrenched aside, the blade hissing past his throat. He rolled and came up firing, stitching a line of craters across Carrick's shields. The denobulan laughed, a harsh barking sound. Pathetic. You cannot harm me. Carrick's exoskeleton-enhanced strength was staggering. He moved like a juggernaut, smashing through equipment, shrugging off Gabriel's hits. His blows crumpled steel when they landed. Gabriel dodged and wove, his armor barely absorbing the punishing strikes. He was outmatched. Desperate tactics. Consoles shattered as Gabriel crashed into them, flung by a brutal kick. Warning glyphs flashed on his HUD. Armor integrity critical. He staggered up, firing from the hip, but Carrick walked through the barrage unscathed. Disabling Carrick. You only delay the inevitable. The giant roared. These clones will be your species' doom. Gritting his teeth, Gabriel launched himself at Carrick, lashing out with a spinning kick. His boot hammered the exosuit's knee joint, buckling it. Carrick roared in fury and grabbed his neck, squeezing. Choking, Gabriel pried at the vice grip, his vision tunneling. Desperately, he groped at Carrick's chest. There, he ripped away an armor plate, exposing the glowing power core. Final strike. Get off me. Gabriel drove an armored fist into the spherical device. It cracked, energy leaking out. No, Carrick howled. What have you done? The exosuit went rigid, servos locking up. Gabriel tore free and staggered back as Carrick toppled like a felled tree, the suit systems failing. All around them, the awakened clones milled in confusion, shouting in the denobulan tongue. Destroying the facility, Gabriel armed the demo charges on his belt. It was time to leave. He sprinted for the exit, the world shaking as he set off the explosives behind him. Gouts of fire chased him, the cloning facility collapsing in a chain of deafening detonations. Escape. Gabriel didn't look back as he vaulted into his ship and roared into the sky, the outpost vanishing in a plume of debris. Gabriel patched into the comms, picking up chatter from Omega Squad. They had neutralized 12 of the 15 denobulan agents, but worryingly, the last 3 cells had gone dark and vanished. Cox here, he reported. The clone facility on Titan is scrap. En route to the rally point now. We need to find those final agents. Fast. Uncertainty. He received confirmation and angled toward Earth, mind racing. They'd struck a blow against the denobulans today. But it wasn't over, not by a long shot. They still had to stop the imminent attack. Failure wasn't an option. As Gabriel made planetfall, he couldn't shake the feeling in his gut that this was all building to something even worse. The mysterious devices Omega had recovered from the sleeper agents nagged at him. The strange energy they emitted unlike anything on record. What the hell were they for? The revelation. Analyzing the devices. Gabriel's blood ran cold as he examined the strange device recovered from the London sleeper cell. Olivia, Omega Squad's tech specialist, ran her scanners over it, her brow furrowed. A dangerous discovery. This is bad, she muttered. Really bad. These components, They're part of a terraforming machine, denobulan tech designed to rapidly alter a planet's atmosphere. Implications for Earth. Gabriel's fist clenched. Let me guess, to make Earth nice and cozy for denobulans. Olivia nodded grimly. And deadly for humans. The machine will seed the atmosphere with nanobots carrying the bioweapon. It'll transform the environment in a matter of days. We'll never survive it. The stakes. Gabriel growled. The stakes have just skyrocketed. We need to find the other components fast before those bastards can put this thing together. Omega Squad splits up. Omega Squad mobilized, racing to track down the remaining sleeper cells. Intercepted intel pointed to Tokyo and Sydney. They'd have to split up, hit both cities simultaneously. Time was running out. Tokyo pursuit. In Tokyo, Gabriel gunned his hoverbike through neon-drenched streets, weaving through dense traffic. His HUD flashed a warning. 6 denobulan contacts converging on his position. These guys weren't bothering to hide anymore. Plasma bolts sizzled past his head, exploding storefronts and sending civilians screaming. Gabriel whipped out his sidearm and fired back, bike careening around a corner.